Hey everyone, Trenton here today with Allegis, and we're going to be going through a little something on Riskalyze. This is in light of the July 1st policy change, where the risk questionnaire provided by Riskalyze replaces the investor profile sheet. I guess to start off, I'd like to clear up some questions that I've heard over the past month as we've given you a chance to slowly transition your paperwork flow. People seem to just still be a little confused as to when to use it. So I'll just give this general rule of thumb. When you're wondering when to use the risk questionnaire, just ask yourself, when would I use the investor profile sheet? This is literally taking the same role and responsibility, but substituting or replacing a physical document with a digital and electronic version. What I'm going to go through today is how to produce this report, or rather send it out to a client, get it filled out, and then we're going to talk about how to prepare the report to be uploaded to Repertoire. Please note that it is our expectation and requirement from Allegis for you that this risk questionnaire be filled out by your clients and that you upload it to Repertoire, you or your admin, whatever your setup is. So to get started, let's add a client. And as we know, to add a client, we simply press Add Client. I can change this to enter manually since they are most likely a prospective client. And we'll use the name Robert Downey Jr. He's got some money from the Sherlock films and he's looking to do something with it rather than waste it all. Also, his Iron Man ones did pretty well. So we're here to help. I'm going to put in an email address. For purposes of anonymity, I'm going to put my own so you don't know his. And this will help us also see later what it looks like on the receiving end using this email address. Okay, so when you've created the client and you've added their email address, the way to get the risk number or the risk questionnaire initiated is by pressing Set Risk Number. I'm going to go ahead and press it. There are two options. One is Set Risk Target, one is Use a Questionnaire. I guess simply said, we do not use the risk target, but rather use a questionnaire. That's because it's always a better story and best fiduciary practice to say that when we invest, we do it according to what the client has said they are comfortable with versus what we have said we think they are comfortable with. Especially if things go wrong, we want to always be able to tell our clients that we did what they would have liked us to do instead of what we kind of guessed that they would. Setting the risk target is something the advisor does. Using a questionnaire is something the client does. So we want to do the questionnaire and have them fill it out just like they would the old investor profile sheet. We then get to two options, Simple Questionnaire and Detailed Questionnaire. Both have the same purpose, basically refining an understanding of the client's upper and lower tolerances. So how much risk are they willing to be exposed to, and how much reward in general would they like as relating to the risk. We always recommend the Simple Questionnaire. Like the title says, it is simpler, but they get to the same point. Feel free to try both. If you do the Detailed Questionnaire, I'd recommend being there with your client. But the Simple Questionnaire is the route we're going to go today. Here are three options of how to distribute your questionnaire. Invite, there's the email button, there's the copy link button, and the launch now button. Email and copy link both have the ability to send an invite via email. When we press the email button, it sends an invite through Riskalyze's system to their email address that you entered previously. Through the copy link button, when we press it, we will see a link that is specially created for this client to fill out as relating to you as an advisor. We press copy link, and then we add it to a message in our actual email or email client like Outlook. To go the other route, we can press email, and a mini message box will pop up with an introduction and then a message letting them know that this questionnaire is something we'd like them to fill out, and that the system will send it back to us with the results when they're finished. You can do whatever you want to this message. Maybe I'd change it to Robert. Maybe I'd change the message too, but I actually like this message. It's pretty alright. Now when I press send to client as the advisor, a copy will go to my client and a copy will be CC'd to me always. So you'll see something that says, hey Robert, please fill this out, even though you're the advisor. That's because you're getting a copy of the message. Going back to the options, there's Launch Now as well. Now I'm going to press Launch Now, but know that what I click here will be the exact same thing that you see if you were to click the link in your email as the client. Let's say I got the link in my email, I click where they tell me to, it takes me here. Welcome Robert, we have a few questions for you. Press Next. Most of you should be familiar with this, but I'll go through it really quick just to give a good rundown. It wants us to do our top 3 priorities. I'm going to say I want to accumulate some wealth. I want to pay down debt, maybe from college in my case. And income's nice. This is where I can tell them about some things maybe coming. Let's say, now this is not true for me, but what if I have a promotion coming and I can expect a certain dollar amount increase? We can let them know. That'll show up for you as the advisor to see. We say the year we were born, and the year we're going to retire, and how much we have to invest. Put $15,000, which would be nice one day. Okay, so those were some questions kind of asking about me as a person. Not necessarily, a little bit investing, but not probing my tolerances. Here's where we get into the tolerance refining. It says, over the next 6 months, you're comfortable risking this. Points down to the downside. And you're willing to risk it to have a chance at this gain. Pointing here to the upside. It then directs us to move the slider to our comfort zone to continue, with a hand pointing to this dial. As we mouse over it, we see directional arrows that indicate we can do something with it, kind of like on Excel. We can drag something. You notice as I drag it, the up and downside percentages and dollar amounts change. Note the dollar amounts are dependent on the amount I said I have to invest. In this case, it's $15,000. It starts off with a kind of a wide, balanced, tolerance probe, if you will. And when I press Next, let's say this is what I'm comfortable with, it'll help me refine that. It's going to ask me, hey, do you want more reward for that same level of risk, or do you want less risk for the same level of reward? For me, I'm more focused on the reward than the risk. I'm okay with this as my floor. It's reminding me also what I did originally. So I'm going to press more reward. Now, here it shows my original choice, it shows my next choice, and it says, what if you could get even more? I want more reward and still the same risk. And it asks me one more time, just kind of saying, alright, well, this is what you said last, but if you could get a little more return with a little more risk, would you do it? And I'd say, I'm alright. I think I'll stick with this. It says your risk number is 76. I click yes, that feels like me, and off I go. Now, one reason why I showed you how to launch now, or do in person rather, is because you're going to have clients who maybe don't use email, or maybe your practice is to just have them come into your office. You want to throw this up on a tablet, something like that, or maybe you've got a computer in your meeting room and you have them filled out with you right there. This would be the way to do that. Now, please note, when I launched Now, it made a new tab in my browser right here. When I close this out and I go to my previous tab, I guess, where I initiated the risk questionnaire, you'll notice it now updates. If it doesn't, feel free to press refresh, and you'll have what you need. Also, you saw from my Outlook that immediately there was a message that popped up. That was telling me as an advisor that Robert filled out the questionnaire, and to click here to see the results. If I were to click and I were not logged into Riskalyze, it would take me to log in and then go straight to this page where we are looking now. So now that we have the risk questionnaire, the next step is producing it in a way that we can put it on repertoire. The preferable format is PDF, and that's the way it comes. You'll notice from this view we can see Robert's name, his email, his risk score, current portfolio, proposed portfolio, retirement map. If you can see all these things, you are in the proper place to print. I only mention that because you can print from within the current portfolio or within the proposed portfolio. You can print from within a lot of places on Riskalyze, and you'll see the same button in the same bar. When you can see all these things, you are in the appropriate place to print your risk number detail report to upload to repertoire. I'm going to press print, and a print options box appears and shows details for a different report than we're looking for today. If I go to the report bar, it darkens and indicates on the right that I can click for a drop-down menu. When I do, I see risk number details, which I will select and print. In this case, print is a digital print. It will produce a PDF version of the risk number details for what Robert did. I will select and open it up, and here it is. It's a description of what happened. It was taken on July 1st. Keep in mind, this is a client-centric report, but we want it for our database. So it's going to give the breakdown of what is the scale, 1 to 99, etc. What we're looking for at Allegis in this report, and why we like it and want to have it on repertoire, is it's got a date, July 1st, when the report was, or the questionnaire was taken, and the score that came from them taking it. Also, the score alongside up and downside tolerances as relating to their investment amount. So you would find this in your download section, wherever you want to put this, and you would upload it to repertoire where you would upload the investor profile sheet. Now, for those who are new to Allegis, you'll want to talk to Stephanie to make sure you understand where that place is, where to submit the page that the investor profile goes, because the investor profile will be null and void to you. To those on the old setup, that's where you do it. You use that rule of thumb. Eventually, though, we will all be on the same page of not knowing anything but the risk questionnaire. Okay, with that said, and considering the fact that from now on, every client will need a risk questionnaire for their profile, I thought it might be helpful for you to know that there's a way to put an invitation to this questionnaire in the signature of your email. I have this tab pulled up right here. It's called a knowledge base article. Riskalyze has a lot of them, and you can use it to learn a lot of things about Riskalyze if you have questions. This one talks about how to make a signature button in your email. Well, I want to have a couple things set up. One is this page, and when I send out this this webinar, I'm going to attach a link to this. And I'm probably going to put a link in the message that's directing you to this video too, just so you have a couple places to see the link to produce your signature button, if you will. Seems to be the word they use. So we'll want to have this tab up, and I'll give you a link to it. We'll also want to go back to our main setup and go to Menu in the upper right and Settings. Once I get into Settings, you'll see 3 tabs. We want to do the second one, Lead Generation, which we'll highlight, and I click. There are several options. Just as a side note, if you're wanting to build this button into an actual website of yours for your firm, go ahead and give this to your coder. This will help on the back end, probably in the HTML or something. This is appropriate for them. For us, we just want option 2, which is copy link. So right now I'm going to copy the link. By pressing it, it tells me, hey, I copied it. Let me press it again. It might just reset it after I do it. Okay, that's fine. So I should have it copied. Next thing I want to do is I want to pull up my Outlook. Today, for today's purposes, I'm going to show you how to do it in Outlook. If you have a different type of mail client that you use from your computer and you want to figure it out, let me know and we'll work on it together. But today we're doing it through Outlook. Also, I guess one more thing before we get into Outlook is we want to pick the image we want. The reason I want you to have the link to this article is because this is the source for the button image. Past couple times I've done some variety. I think I'll shake it up again. And I'm going to do this one. What's your risk number? You right click the image and press Save Image As. And I'm going to change the name to risk_button and put it on my desktop so it's easy to find. Now that it's there and downloaded, I'm going to pull up my Outlook. Particularly in Outlook, what you want to pull up is a message composition, a new message. That's how you get to the portion where you edit your signature, as most of you probably know. Look for something somewhere, because some of you will have a newer version like 2015 or 16 where it's got the blue kind of logo and color scheme. Others will have a legacy version. It's going to be kind of a yellow, cream, orange, brown. For those of you who have it, you know what I mean. I don't know what color that is. But either way, in the message composition box, that's where you find your signature. Go ahead and click, and then press Signatures. That will take you to the editing box. In this case, I only have one, but you would select the one that you have that you want to do it for, and then go from there. Now, for those of you who have ever produced a link of sorts for someone to click on in an email, that's kind of what we're doing. The only thing we're doing is we're adding it to the back end of an image. We're making the image clickable to go somewhere. In this case, to a risk questionnaire. We look for the logo that's indicative of an image. If I mouse over it, I don't think the words will pop up. But you'll notice this is a picture, and in front of it is a desktop screen. Kind of to say, computer image. This will be an image from your computer. When I click it, it's going to help me browse, and it goes to pictures. This is one I did before when I was first learning, but I'm going to go to the one I told you about. Go to my desktop and press Risk button and Insert. So no double clicking. You can, but you don't have to. It'll still work out. If I want, I can adjust the size maybe. Maybe not. Okay. It's a little more rigid than it. Okay, sure. So the reason I want to adjust it was because I don't like how this is off center now. But that's just because I'm funny like that. So I would probably center the oops. I would probably do something like this. Like I said, that's me being me. Not required. And you get the idea. Anyways, I've got my image here. Now I need to put an email address in it. Or not email address, an internet address or web address. I right click the logo, or I click it, and then once you see kind of this perforated edge and these dots around it, that's when you know you can right click and press hyperlink. At that point, you'll paste in the address what was taken before. You can either do Control-V or you can right-click and press Paste. And there you see the link that I copied earlier from my Riskalyze tab in my browser. I press OK. I press OK again. I'm going to close this out to give it a chance to update. No, I don't want to save that. And in Outlook, I press New Email. And here's a button where as you mouse over it, it tells you how to work with it. So it'll be the same for your clients. Control click to follow a link. I control click. It's a left click or a normal click. And here I am to the link. Now you notice the landing page for this is a little different than when we press launch now. This won't happen if you deliberately invite a client from within Riskalyze, but when you have this in your signature, they're assuming that sometimes someone might click it who you didn't ask to do, who you didn't ask to click it. They'll just do it because they see it. They say, well, what is my risk number? What is that? So you'll notice that it gets us into one extra page, first name, last name, and email address. That should look very similar to what we have with Robert. I'm going to pull him up again. What did we put when we created him as a client? Robert Downey Jr. and an email address. That's pretty much what this page is getting. It's trying to say, well, since you're taking this, we're going to throw this in as a client or prospective client for the advisor who this button is attached to. Once they finish the questionnaire, because I'll do a name, I did Tom Jones, I'll do Tim, his brother. I did that last week. Do the same email. Normally it won't be, but when I press next, you'll see it gets me right to where we were before. And when it's finished, once again, as the advisor, you'll get a message saying, Tim Jones has filled out this questionnaire. Click here to see his results. So you can use it kind of in this verbiage. Maybe you've got a meeting with a prospective client, and you say to them, hey, to prepare for our meeting on Tuesday, please click the risk button in my signature below, and go from there. And then maybe in just conversations with people, more casual conversations, maybe you're not quite to the point to set up a meeting, but you'd like to. Maybe they'll just see the button and press it, knowing what you're about, and maybe you'll get a discussion started that way. So I thought I'd just show you that. If you have any questions on setting that up, let me know. I'd be happy to work side by side with you, but you will also have this video. With that said, that's about what we have to talk about today. How to send out a risk questionnaire, either via email or doing it in person. How to print the questionnaire to be ready for upload to repertoire. And how to put a risk questionnaire button in the signature of your email so that you can invite and advertise that way as well. With that said, thanks and enjoy your day.